Alrighty, so I'm back. I don't know which video you're going to see first, but I'm recording this one directly after a different video that I just recorded about Thanksgiving. So I'm sitting in the same place, wearing the same clothes, and I'm still sipping on the same bourbon. The topic I want to talk about today is... Here, let me adjust this a little bit. Is that any better? I want to talk about the divide. This divide that we keep hearing about between police officers and the citizens in the place where they work. This is a topic that really irritates me. And I want to tell you about my day today because, I don't know, today was Thanksgiving. So like I said, this is the second video I'm making on Thanksgiving about Thanksgiving. But it really is important. Like, today might have been a special day, but it's really no different than any other day as far as my experiences go. It's just that I have more of these interactions and I kind of notice them more. And so do the people that I interact with. So I will tell you, I started off my day. There's a house on the precinct that I work where there's a guy who has warrants, and I believed he might be visiting that house today. It was a holiday and he has family at this house, and I thought he might try to sneak by. So I sat up on a spot where he may or may not have been able to see me, but if he tried to visit his family, I would definitely see him. I wasn't hiding. I was sitting right out in the open in my police car, in my uniform, on a kind of on a side street. So I'm sitting there, and as a police officer, you're always aware of what's going on around you. And I was sitting there kind of watching this house out of the corner of my eye, watching oncoming traffic, watching the traffic that comes behind me, watching everybody that's walking on foot. And I noticed in the rearview mirror, there's this guy walking towards me. He was a male black. He was probably about 6'2", probably 240 pounds. He was wearing like a tracksuit. It was like green sweatpants and a green hoodie with the hood up. And he was wearing a white mask, like a COVID mask, because everyone wears their masks. And which he really stuck out to me because he was walking on the street by himself wearing a mask, and I thought that was kind of odd. But anyway, I would look back in the mirror at him, look down the street, look this way, look that way, and I look back in the mirror at him, making sure that I could still see him, because as a police officer, you don't want anybody walking up on you, or you don't want to lose track of people that are walking up on you. That's a safety thing. He was actually walking on the opposite side of the side street, walking down. And I had the windows cracked, because it's also something that police officers do. You want to be able to hear things. And as he kind of got by my cruiser, I looked over at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey!" He goes, "Happy Thanksgiving, man." And he kept walking. I rolled the window down. I said, "Hey, brother, you too, man. Happy Thanksgiving." He turned around, gave me a smile and a wave, and you could tell he was genuinely happy. And did I mention it was a black guy? I should have told that in the beginning, but it's kind of part of the story. Because those are the people that are supposed to be afraid of us. That was the whole point. That's like the divide that we keep hearing about, is that young black men are afraid of the police. And, this guy walked by, said hi, and I figured that he was... it was still early. It was like 8:30 in the morning, which on a holiday, that's kind of early for people to be out walking around, especially in the neighborhood that I work. And so maybe I thought maybe he was like a church-going guy, like an early riser, like a good, honest folk, a working man that had the day off and was just enjoying himself. So he walks down to the corner store, and I keep just doing what I'm doing. I'm poking at my phone, watching for cars. I won't get into what kind of car I was looking for, but there was a certain kind of car I was looking for, and every time something similar to that rolled up, I was looking into the windows really, really closely. And next thing I know, this is 10 minutes later, I see this guy. He's walking back towards me, and I I can see he's carrying a bag, and in his bag he's got 2 tall boys of some kind of cheap beer that you get at the gas stations around here. I can't remember what it is. It's like Old English or something like that. Something nasty. And he's walking towards me. So I roll the window down, and I was like, hey man, is that gonna be your lunch today? And he kind of chuckles, and he's like, yeah, I guess it's gonna be. So he walks over to my car. I'm just sitting in my car, and he stands outside my window, and he couldn't have been more relaxed. And I tell him, I'm like, what, you don't have any family that you're gonna go see or anything like that? He goes, no, I just got out of the joint, man. I don't really have any family around. So we kind of talked for a moment. He said that he was living with his daughter. I believe it was his daughter. And he said she's going to go see family, so she'll probably bring him a plate back. And he said he's fine with that. He just doesn't want to be around people. He just did a year in prison. So I asked him, I was like, when did you get out? He's like, just the other day. I was like, well, when? Today is November the 25th. He got out on November the 18th. So he literally just got out of prison. He said that he has 11 numbers. And he was, we talked a little bit about his life and how he was like, he said that he had 11 numbers. He did a year. And I made a joke. I was like, did it take 11 tries for you to figure out that you were doing something wrong? And he smiled and he goes, yeah. He goes, it did. He's like, I've learned what was wrong with me. He's like, I am not that same person anymore. He goes, it's not a good idea for me to be around people today. He's like, I'm just going to sit at the house, have a couple beers. My daughter's going to bring me some food, and that's going to be the end of it. We probably talked for a good 10-15 minutes. I don't know if it strikes anybody else the same way it strikes me, but this guy has been in prison 11 times. And if you listen to the politicians in the media, he should be terrified of me. But he couldn't have been more comfortable talking to me. Not only could he not have been more comfortable talking to me, but he didn't want to be around people. He didn't want to talk to anybody today. It was a holiday, and he wanted to be by himself. But he actually sought me out to talk to. Does that register with anybody else? That really registers to me. And I see it all the time. These people that are out on the street that are doing these things. Well, I can also tell you that he straight up gave me a bunch of information on people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Because he said that he just got out and he doesn't want that stuff around him, and he wants it to be taken care of. Because he wants his life to be better, and he wants that stuff to not exist around him. That's another thing that people think doesn't happen in these neighborhoods. This guy was absolutely comfortable talking to me, and he wanted to help me clean up his neighborhood so that more people aren't getting into the situation that he was getting himself into. I don't know. It's just one of those moments that happens hundreds of times a year, as multiple times a day for me. It's just that I don't always even realize it. And these are the stories that you don't get to hear. These are the things that you don't get to see. And it's really unfortunate that there's people out there that are telling lies, and they're trying to keep us all divided. They're trying to generate fear and keep us from getting along. And they're doing it by telling lies. And that really needs to stop. So one of the things that I want to do most with this channel is I want to tell you the truth of what's really going on out there. So maybe that's just one example, but as this channel goes and I continue to make videos, I'm going to have more and more and more examples of what's really happening out there, what the truth is between the police and the citizens in these neighborhoods. And the fact of the matter is that most of the people that are talking to you, they're talking to you because they have a position of power and they've elevated themselves to a place. but they're so far elevated that they don't know what's going on down here. I'm down here, and I know what's going on, and I want to tell you about it. So, thank you for watching. I know it's late, but happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to finish my turkey. I'll talk to you guys soon.